Hello, this is Compound Interest Stock Guy, and today I'm going to be talking about Aphria and how I think that they didn't produce a clean net income. So stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell down below so you're notified when I upload a video. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. I also want to disclose I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I talk about in this video. Yeah, so in there was this guy on MySletter, Zippity Doodah, and he was saying there was some report about the fact that the only way that Aphria was net income was because of Green Growth Brand gave them $50 million. So I was going through that and I was trying to do my calculations. It says they got like 15 million in net in gross, or no, it was like net margin on their cannabis sales, and then like 12.2 in their distribution margin, and then it was like minus by 62.4, and it's like it turns out to be like minus 35 million. And then if you add the 15 million, then it's like somewhere around 15 million, but the balance doesn't add up entirely, so it leaves me confused. And as well, I wish that on the Aphria financials that it also said how much inventory they grew, and if it said their biological inventory, which it doesn't say. And on SEDAR, it does only got the annual financials. It doesn't talk about the quarter financials, so I don't really like that at all for Aphria. I know they're trying to be bold and all that stuff, but I just I don't own any shares. I did try to get a call option at $5 USD, which is around $7 Canadian. Good till December yesterday for about 60 cents, 65, 70 cents. I had a bid for 65 cents USD, but it didn't get filled, but that's okay. And I ended up getting Tilray strike 50 strike, good till December at $50. So yeah, that's what I did. But basically my mentality is that I don't really like their financials, the way they explain it. Now, as far as going into their financials, I think their revenues are awesome. I think 130 million, like 128 million is very good. Then you're getting to $500 million run rate per year. I think that's good. I think that's great. But the majority of the sales is just from distribution, which is at about like a 12.5% margin. So it's not great margins. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that it could be it's a lot better for their cannabis margins. Their margins are around like 53%, and then they're selling per gram about it was like 135 per gram costs. And so I mean it's not the best. I think Organigram's under $1 for all quarters. Maybe not last quarter, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, I think anything under like about 175 is pretty good for the industry right now. So yeah, that's my opinion. And then yeah, I mean, as far as the net income goes, I just don't think it's conclusive that they made it on their own. I think that I know they had a lot of money come from senior notes, and then I just have this opinion that a lot of that money for net income, like I think that they were like at about a 35 million loss, but because that Green Growth Brands gave them 50 million, that gave them like net income of 15 million so that they could show a profit. And I don't think that's true. It's something that people aren't really looking into, and I think they will in the future, in the next couple of weeks. I think probably come the next week it's going to be looked into, because people have been like harping on Tilt like so hardcore as far as their financials goes, as far as it's like oh well, there's a pro forma, and it's like, well, what the hell, like Curaleaf does pro forma, and MedMen does pro forma, Enianthus does pro forma, so it's like, well, what, Tilt can't do pro forma? So yeah, that's my opinion on things as far as that. But then I just think that there's not enough clarity on their financials, and I think they're gonna get analyzed a little bit further. I'm surprised that no analysts asked about those in the conference call. I didn't listen to every question. I mean, I might have missed a question, but I did listen to a lot of the questions, and I think I listened to them all, but I could be wrong. I skimmed through it. I didn't listen to all the conference call, but I don't believe that they did go through to explain all the financials. So I'm just calling it. Maybe they did. If you know for sure, if you read through it all, then comment down below. But I'm of the opinion, because there's someone that wrote a report saying that this, and then there's other people, and then I'm looking at it myself, and it just doesn't add up to me. I just don't really believe. Again, I think that Aphria will be higher than they are right now come like a couple months, based on hype and all the momentum in the sector. But as far as I just don't think you should be buying right now. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but you just look at the fact that you got the 1 hour and like even the 1 day candlestick, and there's like a big gap up, and 90% of the gap ups, they're gonna go down. So yeah, I'd be very careful. I mean, if you own some, I'd probably be selling. I do believe it's gonna go back down to about $7 Canadian, 5.20 US. I do believe, before it goes higher, before it goes to like 7, 8, 9, $10 US. That's just my opinion. And yeah, I just think people need to look into that. I know a lot of people got a lot excited. I know the revenues are awesome. They're the best in class as far as any cannabis company before them, but it's not based on cannabis sales, so they're not the greatest profit margins. But I mean, I do think that Aphria is doing a leading execution as far as their revenues go, and try to be a dominant player. And I applaud them for getting 5 lots for Germany, and then they're going to get their Aphria Diamond. And I think Broken Coast is a great company that they run. So I mean, I'm not trying to say all Aphria's companies bad. I'm just being I'm just being honest. I'm just having I'm putting it out there, discrepancies that things that so people should look into before being like putting all their money into this company. So that's my opinion. Yep. So that's Aphria. With other news today, there was Kronos buying a CBD company in USA, which was pretty big deal. Then there was what happened? Dionymed, something about state operator. The market's going down because the tariffs, but I think that cannabis sector will go up a little bit. But I think it's probably might go down a little bit next week. And I also just I'm a little cautious about things, but I think a big run's gonna happen very soon. Big run's gonna happen very soon. I think a lot of the money wants to go back into cannabis. It's getting closer to the end of the summer, and you're getting closer to legalization. On top of that, August 27th is when in New York is when they're decriminalization cannabis. So that's a very big step. I think that's something to look forward to, and that's a big catalyst coming. Yeah, I mean, there's companies that are doing outdoor grows, so come later September, that's going to be a big catalyst for the industry. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that I don't think this is the big news that's going to just pump the sector for good, like maybe for a week or less than that. But I think there's bigger things. I know Fire and Flower with the Kush Tard, and Oxley with getting Imperial Tobacco. But I mean, I want to see some really big company come into the space, like a big pharma throw like a $2-3 billion check at one of these companies. That's the kind of catalyst that I'm looking forward to. I mean, as far as having like Diageo or something, I'd be good with that as well. Yeah, I think that's kind of the way the cannabis industry is going. Yeah, I mean, that's just really my opinion on things. I mean, I'm just being completely open-minded, and I'm being subjective, and that's the way I roll. I'm just honest. I speak my mind, and I looked at the financials, but I didn't like the fact with Aphria that they only have the 12-month. They don't have a quarterly financials. I mean, maybe it was the annual, so maybe it's my bad. But as far as like, there could be a lot more color to explain how they got the net income, because when you look at that SG&A, you got 62 million in SG&A. So unless you had like 65 million in SG&A, then you wouldn't actually create like a net profit, because but it doesn't show that they had 62 million in net profitability. So yeah, I don't believe they made net profit on their quarter, and people are getting a little ahead of themselves. And I'm just gonna share the reality of things, because I'm I'm one of those people. People need to remember I'm one of the smart people in this industry. I may not make the best videos. I may not have the best audio. I may not have the best lighting, but I'm one of the smartest people in the industry that talks on a daily basis about these companies. I may not be the best trader. I may not be the best investor, because some of these people that make these like um, some people, they pump their stocks, right? So if they got a lot of people like pumping their stocks, then it doesn't matter if their company's good or bad, then they can still make money when it goes up. So it's not really like they picked a better company than other people. It's just that they have like other people buying their stocks and then them selling their stocks. So that's just what I'm gonna say. As far as being like understanding the industry and understanding things as far as like subjective, like price to sales, PE ratios, and like price to book and things like that in this nature. Like as far as cannabis goes, I even look at that stuff in commodities. I look at it on a lot of stuff. I'm one of the undervalued people in this industry that talks about this stuff, because I've done my research on this stuff. But again, you can know everything and you still may not be the best investor. But I mean, I look at the warrants. I'm hoping to make very big on warrants in the next like three to 6 months. I hope to do very good with my Suniva. I have a pretty good position with Suniva and Tilt, and with my Harvest One warrants, and with like my Zenabis stocks, and I own like Crop. I mean, I don't think they're the greatest company, but maybe they're gonna run. I got like LG, and they got some global companies across the globe, and then I have like Nutraceutical NU, and then I have like MRS, which is a military company. So there's a few companies that like based on the warrants and stuff going through, and I own like TGIF, Friday Night Inc. I expect them to have good next couple of months. And I got Bang CSC, and then I have I'd have to look at it, but I got my Hexo warrants. I own my Tilray calls. I own my Hexo calls. I own NBev calls. These things, we're just getting into the bull industry coming in this fall for cannabis, and I'm right at the epicenter as far as being prepared, because that's kind of, it's leverage. Leverage is where with warrants. But again, I don't advise everybody to buy warrants or to buy call options, because with buying warrants or call options, you have to understand that you could lose all your money. So anyways, I don't want to make this video too long. I hope you learned a lot about this video, and you gained some insight. Again, keep compounding your info and listening to my lingo. And until next time, cool, peace.